Welcome to Some Thrills with Us, 3 scary stories about schools. Story 1, The Silent Halls of Crestwood High Story. 2, The Last Bell at St. Mark's Story. 3, The Forgotten Schoolhouse. It was a cold December evening when Crestwood High School in Pennsylvania announced its sudden and permanent closure. No one saw it coming. Teachers received cryptic emails, students were rushed out of the building, and parents were told that the decision was for their safety. The official reason: structural instability, though those who had walked the school's halls knew better. Something had been wrong with Crestwood for years. The first sign had been the sounds: whispers in empty classrooms, footsteps echoing in deserted corridors. Teachers dismissed them as creaks of an aging building, but students told a different story. They spoke of a shadowy figure that roamed the school, a tall, faceless entity they called the Watcher. Evelyn, a junior at Crestwood, had always been skeptical of the rumors. But when the school shut down, her curiosity got the better of her. Together with her friends Liam and Sarah, she decided to break into the building one last time, determined to uncover the truth. The trio sneaked in through a broken window late at night, armed with flashlights and a sense of bravado. The air inside was heavy, suffused with a musty smell that hinted at years of neglect. The halls, once bustling with life, were eerily silent. Lockers stood ajar, their contents scattered as if their owners had fled in a hurry. "This place gives me the creeps," Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible over the sound of their footsteps. "Relax," Liam said, though his hands trembled as he held the flashlight. "It's just an old building." But as they ventured deeper, the whispers began. At first, they were faint, indistinct murmurs that seemed to come from all directions. Then they grew louder, forming words that sent chills down their spines. "Leave. Now." "Did you hear that?" Evelyn asked, her voice shaking. Liam nodded, his face pale. "Maybe we should go." "No," Evelyn said, her resolve hardening. "We need to find out what's going on." They reached the auditorium, the epicenter of the school's strange occurrences. The stage was empty, but the air was electric with tension. As they stepped inside, the doors slammed shut behind them, plunging the room into darkness. A spotlight flickered on, illuminating the stage. There in the center stood the Watcher. Its featureless face seemed to turn toward them, and the temperature in the room plummeted. "Run!" Evelyn screamed, but the doors wouldn't budge. The Watcher began to move, gliding toward them with an unnatural grace. The whispers grew deafening, forming a cacophony of voices that seemed to come from within their own minds. Desperate, Evelyn grabbed a metal chair and swung it at the entity. It passed through as if striking air, but the act seemed to disrupt its approach. The whispers faltered, and the doors burst open. The trio didn't look back as they fled, the sound of their footsteps echoing through the empty halls. The next morning, Crestwood High was demolished. The official statement cited safety concerns, but Evelyn knew the truth. Whatever haunted that school was now buried, but she couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't gone for good. In a quaint English village, St. Mark's Academy had stood for centuries, its Gothic architecture a symbol of history and tradition. But in 2023, the school closed its doors for the final time. The reason? A series of unfortunate events that had left the community shaken. It started with the bell tower. Every night at exactly 3:33 a.m., the bell tolled, even though it had been decommissioned decades ago. Villagers complained of sleepless nights, and students began reporting strange dreams of drowning. Anna, a history teacher at St. Mark's, was one of the few who remained skeptical. She dismissed the incidents as superstitions and coincidences. But as the events escalated, she found herself drawn into the mystery. One night, unable to sleep, Anna decided to investigate the bell tower. Armed with a flashlight and a notebook, she climbed the narrow, spiraling staircase. The air grew colder as she ascended, and by the time she reached the top, her breath formed visible clouds. The bell, tarnished and cracked, hung ominously in the center of the room. But what caught Anna's attention was the pool of water beneath it. It shouldn't have been there, the roof was intact, and it hadn't rained in weeks. As she stepped closer, the water rippled. Anna froze, her flashlight flickering. Then she saw it, a hand, pale and skeletal, reaching out from the water. She screamed and stumbled back, the flashlight clattering to the floor. When she looked again, the hand was gone, and the water was still. Shaken, Anna fled, but she couldn't forget what she had seen. The next day, she shared her experience with Mr. Carter, the school's groundskeeper. He revealed an old legend about a student who had drowned in the bell tower during a hazing ritual over a century ago. The bell, he claimed, was cursed, tolling to announce the arrival of another victim. Determined to break the curse, Anna and Mr. Carter decided to destroy the bell. They waited until midnight, armed with sledgehammers and a sense of desperation. As they struck the bell, it emitted a deafening roar, and the room filled with the sound of rushing water. The pool beneath the bell expanded, flooding the tower. Ghostly figures emerged, their faces twisted in anguish. Anna and Mr. Carter barely escaped, the water lapping at their heels as they descended the stairs. By morning, the bell tower had collapsed, and the school was declared unsafe. St. Mark's was abandoned, left to decay, but villagers still hear the bell tolling on stormy nights, a chilling reminder of the spirits that linger. Deep in the Black Forest of Germany, a forgotten schoolhouse stood hidden among the trees. It had been abandoned for decades, its history shrouded in mystery. Locals spoke of a mass disappearance that had occurred there during World War II, but no one dared to investigate. That is, until a group of urban explorers decided to uncover its secrets. Among them were siblings Clara and Lucas, along with their friend Felix. They arrived at the schoolhouse on a foggy autumn morning, armed with cameras and a sense of adventure. The building was a relic of another era, its walls covered in ivy and its windows shattered. Inside, the air was thick with dust, and the floorboards creaked under their weight. Desks sat in neat rows, as if the students had left in a hurry, their belongings still scattered across the room. "Creepy," Felix muttered, snapping a photo of a faded blackboard. Clara found an old journal tucked inside one of the desks. The handwriting was spidery and uneven, but she managed to decipher a few passages. They spoke of strange lessons and a teacher who knew too much. "What does that mean?" Lucas asked, peering over her shoulder. "I don't know," Clara admitted, flipping through the pages. "But it gets worse. Listen to this. The veil is thinning. Soon, they will come for us." Before they could ponder the journal's meaning, a loud crash echoed through the building. They rushed toward the sound, finding a toppled bookshelf in the library. But no one else was there. The atmosphere grew oppressive, the temperature dropping rapidly. Shadows seemed to move on their own, and the explorers began to feel as if they were being watched. Then they heard it, a child's laughter, high-pitched and hollow. It echoed through the halls, sending chills down their spines. "We need to leave," Felix said, his voice trembling. But the exit had vanished. Where the front door had been was now a solid wall. Panic set in as they searched for another way out. But the schoolhouse seemed to shift around them, its layout changing with every turn. They ended up in the basement, where they found a strange symbol carved into the stone floor. It pulsed with an unnatural light, and the laughter grew louder. "What is this?" Clara whispered, her voice barely audible. Before anyone could answer, the symbol flared, and figures emerged from the walls. They were children, their eyes hollow and their faces twisted in eternal fear. They surrounded the group, their laughter turning into screams. Desperate, Clara threw the journal onto the symbol and set it on fire. The flames consumed the pages, and the light from the symbol dimmed. The children vanished, and the schoolhouse fell silent. When they found their way out, the building was gone, replaced by an empty clearing. The group fled, vowing never to return. But they couldn't escape the nightmares that followed, haunted by the faces of the forgotten children and the whispers of the schoolhouse that had claimed them.